I wanted to make a video about the books that I read in September. So I have 3 categories. I have non-fiction, fiction. I always call it non-fiction. I have fiction, academic, and then sort of like academic, but like not for school. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, I'm just gonna this way and hope that's okay. Nice. This whole video might be out of focus and I don't care. Fiction first. So these are all books that I read in September or started in August but finished in September. I actually think I finished the first 2 in August, but I'll show you them anyway. So the first one is Beth from Morgan's My Policeman. I love it. I read it because Harry Styles is in the movie and I really want to see it. But I cried. I found it quite emotional, especially the ending. Favourite moment. I think my favourite moment was the first entry from Patrick's point of view. I think Patrick just reads better than Marion does. There's a lot more risk with Patrick's point of view. Really good. Though at the beginning I did feel a bit like, oh, this is boring. But it's actually really, really good. You just have to like get past the first couple pages. Second book I finished, I think, in August is The Philosopher's Stone. Look how pretty it is. I love this book so much. I can't wait till I get the paperback versions for Christmas. Anyway, I mean, standard book. It's obviously a children's book and you can kind of tell by how it was written. But there's a lot more banality than the movie, which I think is really interesting. Other than that, just standard teen book, child to teen book. Next, we have The Culprit. So I've seen this all over TikTok and Instagram, and it's a fiction book with an enemy to lovers trope. It's part of a trilogy. The other 2 are The Wicked King and The Nothing Queen. Oh, Queen of Nothing. I was going to say Nothing Queen doesn't make sense. But yeah, really cool. I'm really annoyed that I had to obviously crack the spine to open it because then it creates this like bulge, but so good. Again, made me cry at the end, as every fucking book seems to do. Favourite moment is when, spoilers, Jude and any moment where Jude and Carden are like alone. I did get excited about the lock thing, but I kind of felt like really on edge about it, even before the whole plot twist. So good. And it's so pretty, apart from that. Like, anyway, moving on. Next is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I really hope my camera's still filming. I love Beth's style of writing. This is the second book I've read of hers. Really want to get Road Trip. Would recommend this and Flatshare. I love it. Cried at the ending, of course. There are moments where I've laughed, moments where I'm like, because I just don't know what's going to happen. That's so good. Because I really like romance novels, so it's like, it's so good. And because I'm really close to like the whole working part of like elderly and stuff, I kind of like, it felt like really like a core sentiment to me, and like, so glad. And then the last fiction book, which I'm going from September to October, so I'll finish this in October, unless I finish it today, is the second in the trilogy of the Alpine trilogy, Folklore of the Air series, The Wicked King. So good. Oh, I just finished. Spoiler alert. I just finished the most intimate, non-graphic scene ever. I honestly, like, it made me, like, get a butt. I was so into it. I was like, yes. Again, the spine is cracking, which is a shame because it's so pretty. Okay, so the next element I wanted to talk about was academic for fun books. I don't really know how to, like, vocalise this, but these are, like, non-fiction, but for fun. So this one, which I'm going to finish today, I took off the dust sleeve because it was so ugly. No offence. Rest in peace. Is Stephen Hawkins' Brief Answers to the Big Questions. I'm on part 10. Very interesting. Quite easy to read considering it's like quite hard like dialect. Easiest to read would be part 6 or 7, which is time travel possible or will we survive the Earth? Hardest is part 5, which is what's inside the black hole, which is sort of like his speciality, so it was really like difficult to discern. The foreword and the introduction by Eddie Redmayne and Kip Thorne was really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this today, so this will be part of like my September book finishes in my reading journal. You know, my second book, and I only have 2, is Prosthetic Culture by Celia Lurie. It's a collection of chapters or essays that link psychology, memory and identity with photography, so fun. Anyway, moving on to my books that I've read for academics. So there's this one, which is Sontag's Regarding the Pain of Others. I read it in one day. It took me 6 to 7 hours. Really easy writing, a lot easier than her on photography, which I'll show you later. Really interesting. I really liked it. I took quite a lot of quotes and information from it, especially about the representation of war, which just all around really cool. Yeah, I would recommend if you're interested in representation, war, or photography, or theory of photography, or Sontag. It was really cool. This book is for contextual information, not on my resource talus list, which is like recommended readings. It's Howard Hibbard's Michelangelo. I am on chapter 2. Definitely want to finish this, just because I'm doing a piece of work sort of inspired by Michelangelo, so I thought it'd be appropriate to know everything about him. So I got this out. I have it until the 6th of October, so hopefully I'll be finishing it quite soon. For the same module, I'm reading this. Hans Ulrich Obrist, A Brief History of Curating. I love it, it's so good. As you can see, I'm tabbing relevant pages, either for added information or for quotes. I love it so much. It's such a good book. And it's not like hard either. It's like a collection of interviews, which is really interesting. They all seem to be like Western European or like Scandinavian. Oh, apart from Walter Hobbs, I think he's American. But it's about like the curational scene. Really interesting. Good read, easy read. Super fast. I'm like halfway through it. Sort of. I'm nearly halfway through it. And I've had it a while, but I've only picked it up to read it a few times. Returning to Sontag on photography. I haven't finished the whole book, but I read what was recommended on my modules list. So I've read 2 chapters out of 7, and I was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 7. Okay. I was gifted this book by a master's student at Falmouth, or past master's student. So, because it's mine, and not the library, so I can like annotate it. So I was doing that for this, which obviously is really helpful. So always buy your own books, because then you can just annotate them and you can like sell them on further if you want to. The book I bought, I have not annotated, and is on my recommended list for the same module as Sontag, is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. I'm on part 3, chapter 3. Yeah, easy read. I usually read it in the morning where I'm more like alert. It's actually really good. Has a new chapter in it, which is exciting, and obviously it's very important. So, and I know it's been like all over. I think it was all over TikTok earlier this year. I really like it. I don't know if I'm gonna use it as a reference in my final piece, which is like an essay, but for contextual information, it's really cool. Another academic book I read, there's 2 that I've read parts of but I didn't finish, because you don't need to read a whole academic text. Read Frederick Reichen's Bending the Frame. I used essay number 1, The Useful Photographer. Really good, again about war representation and photography. The second one is Photography on the Docks, or At the Docks. I read the whole of chapter 1, which is 3 essays, and it was the only ones that I thought were applicable to my situation at the time, which again I think was about representations of war and photography. It was harder to follow, but it had like they were like illustrated essays, so it was easier to follow, but then like not, in comparison to essays where they talk about people's work and I have no idea who they're talking about or what the work looks like. Now, I wanted to talk about the books I'm reading for October and what I have like in my to be read list. So obviously The Wicked King, I'm gonna finish it. No questions asked. I think I'm gonna finish this one for definite, and then my 2 collaborative project reads, which would be cool. I'd like to finish this one, though it is really dense. So I hope to finish that one. And then on the fiction side, I have quite a few from charity shops. So this one, which is right next to you, is things me and my girlfriend have argued about. I've started it, sort of. I put a bookmark in it. Picked it up in a charity shop. Really excited because it's like casual in relationships, and it's biographical, so based on true events, and it's from the husband's perspective of what they argued about, which I'm really excited. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I'm on chapter 11. I started this January this year, so but like last academic year, and it's so, because it's set 1800s, I think, Jane Austen, sort of like the Dickensian era, so it's kind of hard to read, but I'm determined to plough through it. And this one, which again I started last November, it's a self-help book, so obviously I can read it when applicable, but really want to finish this. I heard great reviews from people who read a lot of like self-help books or like non-fiction mindset books, so really need to like finish that. And then in the fiction stance, again returning, I'm not sure if this is my favourite cover or not, but I kind of do love it. I love the colour palette. I'm pretty excited. And it hasn't got one of those ugly, like, fake stickers, which is amazing. I'm so excited. And another one. I don't want to be too optimistic, but you've got to like set high goals. Of Course of Love by Elaine de Botton. cover's really pretty. Again, love, so, okay.